A lot of people who have been in church for a long time have experienced the spiritual high, the camp high, if you will, but then there's that crash. How do we avoid it? What is it really? Today on the Midweek Move, we're going to talk about that. Hello and welcome to the Midweek Move, podcast extension of the Healing Place, the podcast where we examine scriptures line by line, verse by verse, and ask ourselves, what is happening here? And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by a very good and old friend of mine, Branson Boykin. How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Branson, I'm excited to have you on here. You're a husband, a father. You work in insurance. Don't come at him. And you're the one that helps people. And but you're also, man, you're a bit of a scholar yourself, and you've been in ministry. You've been out of ministry. You've worked in the public sector. I used to joke with context. Branson is one of my oldest friends. We've known each other since 1999, I believe.
99, 2000, yeah.
Yeah, and so we grew up together. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it here. Branson is one of the reasons why I survived high school. Just spiritually, just really was. And so I've appreciated his friendship for a long time, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate that we're brothers in Christ. And so the whole conversation of iron sharpening iron, you have been that for me, and I appreciate you, bud. And I'm excited that today we get to continue our conversations in the scriptures. I was laughing. We years ago, one of the first times I did a Bible study was with you, and we were going through the book of Joshua together. We spent a whole summer walking through that, and it was cool because it was just a natural conversation. And so when I think about the way that we've structured a Midweek Move, a lot of it has actually birthed from that time frame of me just having a normal conversation with people that I love and care about something I'm passionate about, which is the scriptures, and trying to understand in a very normal way. And so I'm hyped about this today, bud. I know, Branson, you've been a long-time listener.
Yes.
of the show. What's it like for you being on the show? You've been listening for so long, and now you're on it.
I know. I didn't realize that this is what this room looked like. So, this is kind of surreal. So.
A little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
So, all right, good deal. Well, guys, we're continuing the book of Matthew. I'm excited about today because we're getting into something crucial here. Today starts really what many call Passion Week, which is the trip to Christ's death and resurrection. And we were joking around about it in the pre-show, but this really is, to me, one of the most important things for us to make sure we read and understand. Our faith is nothing without this moment.
Amen.
All the apostles, all the prophets, everything in the Old Testament points to this moment. Everything after this points back to this moment of Christ's death and resurrection and what that means for us. And so over the next several weeks, guys, this is going to be a big journey for us. And it starts here. Ironically, we're doing it with a weekly short, so it's going to be condensed a little bit today. But let's jump into it. Mark chapter 11. It says this: Now they drew near to Jerusalem, to Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives. Jesus sent two of his disciples and said to them, "Go into the village in front of you, and immediately as you enter, you will find a colt tied on which no one has ever sat. Untie it and bring it. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' say, 'The Lord has need of it, and will send it back here immediately.' And they went away and found a colt tied to a door outside the street, and untied it." Now let's pause right here. First off, this takes a lot of faith in your leader to go, we're about to commit our grand theft.
Right. Grand Theft Auto Bible edition.
I mean, for real. I mean, it's like Jesus, like, hey, there's gonna be something like the trust they had to have in Jesus to go, all right, this is a very specific word. This is here. Right. And these guys are going down there and they're like, okay, all right. Well, that's not really a cult right there, and that's not one either. And then they see exactly that's pretty miraculous,
right?
That's a miraculous moment taking place right there in of itself.
I'm just surprised by them saying, just walk up to some random house and take it.
Yeah.
And then if they say anything, say, "Oh, the Lord has need of it."
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of a single situation where that would actually work today.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me go. I'm going to take your Lexus. Why? Because the Lord has need of it. Okay, sure, go ahead.
So again, this is where this is the Lord. And so they're walking this out, they're going into this. Pick up in verse 5. And some of those standing there said to them, "What are you doing untying the colt?" And they told them what the Lord had said, and they let them go. Verse 7. And they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks on it, and he sat on it. And many spread their cloaks on the road, and others spread leafy branches that had cut from the fields. And those who went before and those who followed were shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the kingdom of God, or the kingdom of our father David. Hosanna in the highest." Earlier, I was on the Logos Bible app, and there was one of the free commentaries. Shout out Logos if you want to sponsor us. Love to have some of your stuff. But talking about the word Hosanna, it was actually a cry of victory to do this. This was a victorious cry. This whole thing of Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. This was like they were like going, Jesus is coming in. This is the moment. The Messiah is here to take over. That's what they were saying in this moment.
Wow.
And so it wasn't just like, just a praise. It was like these people had anticipation of it's time.
Yeah.
The kingdom is here. We're getting rid of the Romans, and this is going to be it. And I say that to go, this is the hype they're in.
Right.
This is the excitement. And kind of to jump forward a little bit, here in the next few weeks, we discover some of these very people who are in the crowd going, Hosanna, are going to be yelling, crucify him. There's this sudden crash of these individuals. And honestly, that's a common thing that happens today, even where we'll have people who are on these camp highs, they're excited about what the Lord has done. And then 2 weeks later, they've kind of fallen back and they're back into their old routines, or, some of them sadly are even, I don't care about this Jesus thing anymore.
Right.
And this has been a heart cry of mine for a while. And you and I've had conversations about this privately, about the fact that so many in our generation that have, they were passionate about the Lord. They were crying Hosanna. And today they're going, who is this?
Right.
Branson, how do we avoid this imbalance? How do we maintain spiritual balance? Because there are some people that, they're up here and then they're down here all the time. How do we maintain spiritual balance in our lives?
Well, I can tell you it's hard. I wish I had the 3 simple steps to maintaining balance, but it's not. It's difficult because by nature we are emotional creatures, and we feel emotions, and emotions can be a good thing. God can certainly use those, but they can also be used to kind of get things twisted.
Right.
But reading this text and seeing the situation, and I think Pastor Scott has said this in a sermon once, but when Jesus was what the crowd expected, they shouted, Hosanna.
Right.
When he wasn't, they shouted, crucify him. But the thing is, Jesus didn't change.
Right.
When he was riding on the donkey and when he was silent before the Sanhedrin, he was fulfilling his mission. He was the same Jesus all the way through. What changed was the crowd. And thinking about that just in my own personal experiences, if God is constant, if God is consistent, and then I'm feeling great one day and not great the next, then the person that's changed is me,
right?
Not the Lord. And, as recently as this week, there was a situation where I got some bad news about my car, and this was on the heels of a lot of other stuff going on, and I was very careful not to be the guy that was like, I'm shaking my angry fist in word, but I was kind of like, okay, Lord, clearly there's something you want me to learn. So what is it?
Right.
What is it that you want me to learn? Because that's the right thing to say.
Sure.
But my attitude was not, okay, Lord, I'm humbling myself. I want to learn what are you trying to teach me in this moment? Let me quiet my heart. That wasn't my attitude. My attitude was, I don't like where I'm at. This sucks. So let me hurry up and learn this lesson so that I can get past it.
Right.
And I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he was like, sometimes when bad things happen, it's not the Lord punishing you. Sometimes it's just life. And I was reflecting on that, and this phrase came to mind. I wrote it down. When bad things happen, God should be your anchor, not your scapegoat.
Yeah.
You know, this crowd, when they thought Jesus was the conquering king, they were all excited. They were excited.
Yeah.
But when he got arrested, brought before the Romans, not exhibiting his majesty at all, it was crucify him. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't change, but the crowd did. And so to try to maintain that balance is, for me, is just to realize that God didn't change. If my circumstances changed, okay, but God hasn't changed.
Right.
And whether I'm happy or sad or angry or in the middle, God is an anchor that I hold on to. I go to God when I'm happy, say, hey, God, thank you so much that things are great. And I've, bank account's full. My car works. Everything's wonderful. My kids are listening to me. Everything's awesome. Or when things aren't great, my response should still be go to God. Instead of, hey, God, things are great. It's, God, things aren't so great. And just being open and honest with him about that. And instead of taking it as a personal attack, why are you after me on this?
Right.
Just focusing on, hey, the Lord is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Right.
And he's going to get me through this.
Right. I think some people, they struggle with the conversation of going, God, this isn't good. And because they go, but he's a good God. Well, yes, he's a good God. But we even look at the laments of David in the scriptures where he's like, woe is me. This is what's taking place in my life. But we have to remember the full conversation is, but I will remember what you have done. Right. I will give thanks for how you have been faithful, and I will put my trust in who you are, not what is taking place in the moment.
Right.
And I think that's part of the switch up people have is because they are, like you said, we're in the moment, and so off topic, but on topic. One of the things the Lord's dealing with me is just being present in the moment and understanding who God is in the moment. Also, I have been real focused as of late of always thinking about tomorrow. Like even my conversations this morning, I was with Celeste and we were getting ready to come up to the church for prayer this morning. And I'm going, all right, so tomorrow, I'm like, why am I talking about tomorrow? It is 4:30 in the morning. I'm here today.
Right.
And the Lord's here today. I need to stop worrying about what he's going to do tomorrow. I need to stop worrying about what is he doing today? Well, he is the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. So I'll get there tomorrow.
Right.
But who is he today? He's the same guy as he was yesterday. Was he faithful yesterday? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. I'm the one who's a little jacked up right now. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Branson, anything else you want to add to this conversation?
Just that I don't want to give the impression that emotions are bad.
Right.
They are good things.
Sure.
And it's natural for us to respond. I mean, Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane was sweating drops of blood. He was so stressed out.
Right.
So I know for me, I'm tempted to think that if I'm feeling bad, I'm somehow sinning. Yeah. That's not always the case. We just don't want to be ruled by our emotions.
Exactly.
We can feel them, certainly. I mean, circumstances are bad sometimes.
Right.
But we don't let them control us. They're just a byproduct.
Right. We talked about I think we talked about here, but the story where Jesus is in the boat with the disciples and they're freaking out because the water's rushing over. He gets up, he calms the storm, and he rebukes his disciples and says, oh, you have little faith. And everyone's like, well, why is he getting on to them? They're calling for him for help. Well, he's rebuking them because they allowed their emotions to override their faith in who Jesus is.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's a balance there. Your emotions aren't bad. It's a matter if you allow them to rule you.
Right.
And we've talked about also before how emotions play a part in our faith, in who we are as Christians. There is the very logical, this is what it is, but then there's the emotional side of things. And we have to find the balance of those as we move forward as Christians.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys, we want to hear from you. How's this encouraged you? How's it challenged you? Reach out to us, mediahub@thpshreveport.com. That's how you can reach out to us. Also, do us a favor, leave some comments on the comment section here on YouTube. And it helps the algorithm, helps people go, oh, this is a good video. But also, share the stuff out. Take the stuff and use it with your own small groups, with your own personal Bible study. And we would love to hear testimonies of how that's working for you guys. So until next time, have a great week.